Hello and welcome back to episode 8 of Quality Check. We had a few two-parters, so I'm not counting them as their separate thing, but they're like kind of episode 6.5, 7.5. But this is number 8, and yes, we're back with two of my good friends. I've got Griseous up above.
Hello, Mewtwo main in the UK. Recently been to Brentwood, soon to go to Ipswich. It's going to be a fun time. Pleasure to be here.
Yes, we got Suffolk Smash, haven't we? I'm looking to see if somebody can house me for that because I do not want to pay for a hotel. And we've got also got Wings over here, who's
It's
hit said.
Wings that wins from the south. I'm going to interrupt you before you even try and say that because I do not think that I jokingly said that I would boost the numbers by being here. If
It's
if,
true.
if it goes up by 10, I'm winning.
Oh yeah, if it goes down, then he's just going to disappear.
I'm
Yeah,
not going to
point
be
point
here
is a
again.
lot's
You're never
riding
going
on
to see me
this.
again.
A
Yeah,
lot's riding on this. Yeah.
but yeah,
Um,
InsertWings hitting Robin Main from the south. Um, relative shitter on Twitter.
the true. You've all seen his shield break setups and his pit gameplay.
That one
You
on
know
Sean he got. Yeah, that's
Mm,
the
pretty
one on
good.
Sean. I popped off.
My finest moment.
Sorry, Sean.
I've gone downhill from there. After Rise 2, it's been straight down.
That's what happens though. You have one good tourney and then it's a trough and then it's a
Yep.
peak. As Goblin always says, the comeback's always bigger than the setback.
Yeah.
So yeah, well, I'd just like to speaking of comebacks. What an epic transition. We've got Brink 2 coming up, and the sign-ins or the voting should go live about 3 days after and we've got quite a lot of people signed up to Brink 2. So just like to talk to you about, who you'd like to be voted in, and what you're expecting out of the event really. Um so yeah, well,
Well, I've got the list up here right now. Just looking at who's actually opted in for voting. I see. Well, of course there was you. You kind of quietly joined in the
I
race.
quietly joined in, yeah.
I
Um,
find that method a bit questionable, but
why
moving
wouldn't
along.
you?
There's also Serenity, Aaron, Beekeeper, Derpayoshi, the one, the only.
Yeah,
Uh,
Mr. Mentally Untouchable himself.
so true.
apart from
Jet's
against
also
me.
back in the race. We've got
Yeah.
Zone, Pizza Time. A lot of strong players looking to get into
Mm.
Brink this time.
Yeah, we
Scores, Astro.
mm,
This is quite a big list.
it's quite a big list. You've got a lot of strong players, a lot of popular people as well. I
Mm.
know that Burning did a last minute sneaky maneuver. He was like, do you know what? I left my homework at home. Can I bring it in on Monday? And teacher Dalax was like,
All
yeah,
right,
all right then.
fine. Yeah.
Well, we will leave it to the people, and obviously being the great pleaser that Burning is, the popular man, the most popular man in Smash. Yeah, people just voted him in, which is fair enough. I do like
Yeah.
Tom. So yeah, lots of strong people, and lots of popular people, which is gonna be really nice. And there's only 4 spots, and I think there's about 16 people signed up, so it's gonna be quite cutthroat.
Mm.
As people who are aren't participating but might be swayed to vote, what sort of things are you looking for in like a campaign to earn your votes?
Well,
Do
to
you want
start
to go
with,
first, Wings?
I feel like to start with, we're contractually obligated, considering where we are having this conversation, to mention that we might be slightly swayed towards Quality Thomas. However, like for me, like I just want to see people that maybe not like at least two of like the top players on here, maybe like Astro, maybe Scores, um, Pizza Time like that to get in, but then like have two that are maybe like a step down. So Aaron, Serenity, Jet, maybe Flory, um, get in as well. So you have like a little bit of a mix, and it's not just the entirety of the vote-ins are just sort of there for, I don't want to say comedic effect or like not expected to get a game, but want to actually actively push and would challenge the woes and the tiers above them. So that's kind of what I want to see.
Yeah.
I will probably be most likely putting my votes for either Tom or Aaron, and then maybe Flory because I know them quite well.
Yeah, and I think that's quite important because although it is a place for people to, who are the best of the best to go and do things, it's also a chance for people to just go and grind and level up. because
Mm.
a lot of people to sit down in a room with some of the UK's best and sort of be able to ask them for feedback mid game and after the game and implement those straight away. The leveling up would be phenomenal because they can be like, oh, well, you're doing this wrong, or perhaps try this instead. I know Jez has spoken highly of Bloom when he played. He just sort of asked him, and Blue was like, "Ah, yeah, well, your shield pressure isn't as good as it is normally. Like you sort of just nair and run away, or nair and shield, whereas you could be like doing nair and down tilt to pressure my shield and do things like that." And Joseph's like, "Oh, thank you. I'll work on that." Um, so yeah, as much as it is an opportunity for great matches and top spectacles, yeah, the people going, if they can get those level ups, that can really like accelerate their progress because the
Mm.
people that you've mentioned, Aaron's got some really really good wins, especially on the south, and then Flory, I think beat who was it, Achilles at
Yes, Achilles.
Invasion.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yes,
Mm.
Florrie they were sitting right next to me, and I was mid game, and all of a sudden I heard this massive pop off, and Florrie's just running around, "Yeah!" And Achilles was not looking happy. So
Yeah.
that and then they're a big grinder as well. I often see them
Yeah,
on
I was
live.
watching. I was watching a stream last night. She was grinding with Uvema for like 2.5 hours.
Okay,
So they that sort of area sort of grind a lot between themselves, like Wales and Midlands. So makes a bit of sense.
yeah, um,
But Hmm.
At the
Yeah,
end.
I'm looking at the rest of this, like or any of these people can get in, because most of the other people, like Vec, got a really big backing from like the
yeah,
Warwick crowd and all of that lot.
mm,
Pizza Time probably would have the same sort of levels. Same with Scores, and you've got the London folk from like Strong Pig and the Mayhem supporters. So
yeah.
it could go to literally anybody.
I think
I
it's
think
worth mentioning that the that Benefin has got quite the backing behind them as well. I'm pretty
Mm.
sure how this is going to go down is it's like, I mean, at the end of the day, this is going to be a big like popularity contest.
mm,
Like I can easily see a lot of these names making it in just by name and notoriety alone. But um, yeah, you're gonna need all the help you can get to get into this. I think this time, like I think last time it was kind of obvious a little, maybe that's a bit too strong a word, but it was a bit more clear cut who would actually like make it in.
yeah,
But this
absolutely.
time it's like it's actually anyone's game.
Yeah, I mean, I think last year you had quite a lot of people pay for themselves, which is absolutely fine, by the way. This the whole point of it is to sort of raise money for
I
things. So
remember Robbie's rent going into
Oh,
that.
yeah,
wait, really? That was the whole
Yeah,
thing?
I
Oh
I
remember
believe
Robbie's
so.
God.
rent going into that.
And
Oh no.
that man sat down at every event he went to, and he was like, "Right, money match. If I beat you, you contribute to my Brink fund, and if you
Yeah.
beat me, obviously, I'll just give you 5 quid." But yeah, he was everywhere at any time, just grinding money matches for for Brink. So yeah, I mean, a lot of people, will be backing. Like if you're Benathan, if you've got the whole in Scotland behind you, that's a massive boon because I don't think there are any other Scottish players going or have been nominated.
Mm, not that
So
of the nominees, no.
I mean, if
Yeah,
you've
that's
got a
about right.
whole, and we know what the Scots are like. Those guys campaign. Those guys will travel with a massive horde to like an event, and they will sit there, and that is the blue section. That is the Scotland,
The blue and
section,
white cross, yeah.
the Tartan army, as they say. So having a whole country behind you is really, really good for Menathan, and he's quite looking quite strong. Whereas, although Zone and Asker and Scores have got these players, they're actually all London. So you're probably going to
Yeah.
have quite a lot of split votes. It's like if you're a Londoner and you're like, well, I like Scores, but I also want to see Escrow and I like Zone. It's like, well, who am I going to vote for? Because you either vote for all three of them and you're hemorrhaging money, or you're like, well, I'm going to have to choose one of the three.
See, this is also the case for the southeast as well because, well, more the south coast because you and Aaron are in the running now.
Yeah.
Just Serenity, of course, has put out that long video, like saying.
Don't talk to me about that video. I got flipped in it so many times.
Hey, I was the very first clip in it. You don't get to speak.
Yeah.
You do not get to speak. But yeah, Aaron's put his video out. QualiT, as far as I know, you've not put anything or no incentives out.
I have an incentives already. I just need to upload it to Twitter. I do not have a video because I'm figuring out how to make it. But I would imagine it's just this. But I'll just record my screen and then I'll chat. So I think I'll get one out soon.
Yeah. So my point is just the South is going to be pretty divided as well. A lot of areas are going to be pretty divided because. I mean, I'm pretty sure Flory is also in contention with Joy-Con, looking at this list, both being in the Northwest. Vec, who's his competition? I'm not really sure.
Scores.
Of course.
What do you mean? Does Vec not
Because
also...
Scores went to Warwick with Vec.
Oh, okay.
So
yeah.
But he does kind of have that niche where he's got like Bristol and Bath, those type of players, because although they are like southwest, they're like completely separate from the south scene. Like you've got Smashmouth, like Bournemouth, Southampton, and Portsmouth, and then you've just got Bristol and Bath over there, and they're kind of like their own thing. And I can imagine like Wales might give him a bit of support because he probably goes to Wales a little bit, I would imagine.
yeah, Vec goes to the monthlies. Right.
Yeah, and then Plymouth is just they're just no,
Yeah, they're
Spanish.
just
We
there,
don't talk about them.
I mean, depending on who you ask, the Wales and Bristol count as South Coast.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's not happening. If I was ever to rate that PR, it would not happen. Like there's just not enough crossover, really.
That was a joke about the South Coast PR, by the way.
I know, I got it. But yeah, it's interesting because we'll just have to see how it plays. I mean, I think I will be campaigning quite hard. I mean, if I do ever go to any events between now and then, I might just set up the thing with Robbie and be like, money match me, and and hopefully people who don't know who I am and then just wander over to me and be like, yeah, all right then.
People won't know who you are, more so they won't know what to do against Olimar, you know?
Yeah, I'm hoping like matchup and experience has carried me this far.
You admit it at last, yes.
I have never not admitted it. They go and find another Olimar or another Simon. There's like none of us, but I mean, unless you're on Elite Smash, then there are tons of Simons, but not Olimars. But Brink 2 last year was an absolute treat to watch. And I'm more excited about like the side events. Like what did we have last year? We had the giant quiz.
There was a
quiz.
There was a bunch of quizzes, yeah.
Yeah, those were really fun. And it was really fun watching Jezzo just completely stumped. Like one of the rounds was naming the final smashes, and they was like, "Oh, which one's Sacred Arrows?" And Jezzo's like, "What?"
It's clear who hasn't played like casual.
Oh
yeah,
yeah,
we haven't played casuals properly. Like, you can't be a top player. I'm sorry. Like,
absolutely.
You're not a top player unless you know how to work a warp star in this game.
I recently learned that if you hold up on the warp star,
it delays it. Yeah,
delays it, and if you hold down, it goes quicker. I've been playing Smash and Smash 64, and I didn't know that.
It was a thing in Ultimate only.
Yeah, it's a this game only.
Yeah.
That is my excuse right there. So
anyway,
I mean, yeah,
get back to Brink.
Yeah, we might have taken a slight.
Get back to Brink 2, Yeah.
But yeah, the side events are always really, really fun to watch, actually. And Nutlord knows if he goes, I'm not sure if he is going, but he is one you want on your team. Because I was playing along in chat, and Nutlord was like that. He was so quick on all of the answers. So if you've ever got a Smash trivia quiz, Nutlord is your best friend.
Yes.
You want him on your team. But yeah, I'll be honest, I tuned out from Mafia because I don't really know what Mafia is. I've never played it. So
Among Us.
Yeah, it's IRL Among Us. Yeah.
Oh, that sounds really fun.
Oh no.
And they also had what else did they have last year? They had the little mini game station where it was like board games or like not quite board games, but they were like real life games. Like I think it was Wake the Granny was one,
Yeah.
and like
I've
the
just
pen.
loaded up like the GG page. So you got kids boards games, mini games, DIY cosplay competition, mafia,
Oh,
commentators
that's
versus players,
right.
and bunny hunting, whatever bunny hunting was.
Bunny hunting.
I don't know.
No idea. Apparently, Chucky and Pelly won that. No idea what it's about.
The DIY cosplay thing was
What was the DIY cosplay
they
thing?
just had like a bunch of like clothes that you can like draw on that make you can make them look like whatever character you want, and like people just did not know how to draw characters. It was atrocious, man. It was funny. It was funny.
I mean, that's why they do it, isn't it? Just,
Yes.
just for the pure fun. Um, but no, Brink 2 is looking to be really, really good, and as a sequel, the first one was well loved. Um, and even Robbie took us at last year, so anything can
Uh,
happen this.
it also provided us the rawest pop off of Jezzo we've ever seen in our lives.
You know that
Oh,
photo is
That was,
used on his Smash Wiki page, right?
yeah,
oh,
I
is
think that's the
it?
one.
He does look very psychotic.
He does, yeah.
Maybe he found the bunny before everybody else did.
Maybe. Smelling
Uh,
blood, yeah.
Um, but yeah, I just it would be really, really good to go to. So if you're watching this and you're like, I don't really know who to vote for, I will take your votes, and I will do really, really well. I will win the whole thing. I will not drop a game. I will not drop a stock. That is how determined I am.
Okay.
I will.
How much money are you gonna put on that?
An undisclosed amount. I will write it down on a piece of paper, and if it doesn't come true, at the end of the Brink stream, I will reveal it, and I will give everybody who messaged me that amount.
Uh,
um, but no.
most amount of cap I've ever heard out come out your mouth.
Oh, there's plenty more of that's come from. But no, it's going to be a good time. It's in August, isn't it?
Yeah. Does
Think
anybody
so.
have the list of the people who are actually already going?
I know
Because I'm trying
Jezzo
to scroll
is.
Dalex's Twitter and I haven't been able to find it.
You need to
I
look at
believe
the trailer because that shows. Wait, no,
Uh,
there's a graphic, right?
yes.
there's
So
a graphic somewhere. I remember seeing it, but I can't find it.
they invited the top 6 players on the PGR. So you've obviously got Bloom, Loogie, Pelly, Maze Beans, Jez, and number 6, I think, is Prindlop.
I think 6 was Jezzo.
6 was Jezzo. Owl.
Oh
Owl,
yes,
sorry.
yeah, yeah,
Ow.
yeah.
Yeah.
Owl.
Yes,
And
yes,
then
yes.
the 2 qualifiers thus far have gone to Kendrick Olamar for Invasion, and then
Hmm.
Giggles, because he got
Oh
winners
god, yeah,
final
Giggles was run.
Brentwood
Yeah.
Brawl.
Yeah, Brentwood. That's
And
crazy.
then over leveled 3 is happening somewhen. I think it's next week actually.
Yeah,
Or
it's this
actually the
month. Yeah,
weekend. Yeah, the weekend this will go live up in Liverpool, and I think Shanique is fixing to
snipe
win
that.
that.
Yeah,
He's
Hmm.
trying to snipe that. Because Manchester Grand Conquest got cancelled.
it got.
Um,
I heard it got postponed, not
oh yeah,
cancelled.
yeah, postponed.
Yeah, it's been pushed back, but
Yeah,
I'm
so
not sure how long.
Probably not a Brink event then.
the winner
No.
of the winner of over level 3 gets entry to that, which is the 64-man tournament. And yeah, Shanique wants it, so they're traveling all the way up to Liverpool in hopes of getting out.
Do we know if
Um,
Suffolk Smash is one as well?
I don't believe it is.
That's weird.
Um, yeah, I mean, I obviously understand why they moved it and away from Grand Conquest, sorry, but to move it to like a 64-man regional when Suffolk Smash is probably a lot better suited is probably it's because it's a bigger tournament.
Yeah, it's
Um,
128.
and it's in the east of England, which doesn't get many sign-ups because it's quite a far away. But I mean, Liverpool will always cap because just of where it is. You've got the Manchester places, you've got Newcastle. It's just very easy to get to from the north, and all the Scotland crowd will come down as well. But the east of England doesn't seem too many um, too many competitors. And I think the last time I looked at Suffolk Smash signups, they were at about 40, and that's in about
Mm.
2 weeks from now. So
It's
yeah,
like 45 now, I think.
yeah. I mean, I think it's a 128 cap.
Something
Yeah,
like that.
128.
Yeah, so I think, just my opinion, I think that would have been a better place because it's kind of like halfway in between South and the North. So you could have got like both people going to it. You could have capped 128, and that would could have been a really good event for people to go to. Um, but yeah, I mean, and it's also the last Brink event as well, which is worth noting. So obviously the powers that be have decided that over level 3 was the one, but personally, I think Suffolk Smash was probably a better candidate for it. Um,
I mean, perhaps the decision to make Brentwood Brawl one probably had a part to play in that, because that's a sort of a unification of the London and EOE scenes, as we've both seen, Tom.
yeah, I
Mm.
mean, it's kind of slightly frustrating for the South because if you want to qualify from the South, I've got to travel so far. Like Londoners let's face it, Londoners get like, everything handed to them. I'll be honest. You're so like transport wise, you're minted. You're in a nice geographical location to get to everything.
That is
Whereas
true,
you're
yeah.
in the south, like I had to drive 2.5 hours to get to Brentwood Brawl. I'd have to drive 4 hours to get to Liverpool, and trains aren't that much better either. I think I priced it at like £68 return.
You're
Uh,
better off driving to Southampton Airport, getting on a plane to Manchester, and then getting a taxi, and it's still cheaper.
Yeah, it's
Like,
kind of ridiculous. I mean, I know you can't help these things, but I think an EOE, just for the sake of fairness, would have been better than me traveling 4 hours north to Liverpool to try. You know, I don't know if Curry or SBF, because you've got a lot of killers in the north who might be fighting for that spring spot. I don't know if Curry wants to go or if he's bothering, or SBF or anybody, but you know, it's a big region up there, and lots of people will want it.
I just
You
looked
know,
at the signups for over level 3 just while we were speaking about that. Do you want to guess how many attendees is that right now?
oh,
50?
it's a 64 cap, isn't it? Which is why it's kind of small because Brentwood Brawl was supposedly a 96 cap, and
We got 70, to be fair. That's
we
not
got
that bad.
no. How many signups are we at?
21.
21?
Yes.
Uh,
Hmm.
well, I'm not going because Shanique is going because
I mean, Shanique's probably got that unlocked. Like,
Shanique would farm me, so that's why I'm not going. But if Shanique didn't go, I was there. I reckon I could have won that tournament.
I mean, it was
I
21
guess
people,
we'll
man.
never know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well.
I mean, that's just me being a bit ego-y.
Scared of
But,
Inkling.
I think Inkling, man. When are they going to nerf it?
Not that good.
Not that good. No, that's what they all want you to think. That's what they all want you to think. And then all of a sudden, bam! Like Shirayuki killing it in Japan.
My fault.
The character only fell off because all the player bases went, "Ah, let's just go play Mithra instead." And they all did. Or Joker. The pipeline. They were like, let's go play Joker or let's go and play Pyramithra.
Steve, in
Or,
one particular case, yeah.
Steve!
they just decided, well, rightfully so. They were like, why bother playing this kind of difficult character when I can play this really non-difficult character? And off they went. And the rest is history.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah. But apparently, according to Sakurai, every
Hmm.
character has an equal chance of winning, so they might as well just start with Inkling,
So
because
organic.
according to online data that has been taken from every continent over the 5 years that this game is played out, it's scientifically proven on from data that we cannot see that every character is about the same in power level. So really, it is just a skill issue that Inkling players aren't doing well because Sakurai says so. I mean, have you watched that video?
Yes, some thoughts are to be had on that. I mean,
For context, so people who are watching, this is the one that came out on the 21st of May.
average
Just
and
because this will be
mediocre are the same thing
that's the one.
It's an absolute banger of a video from
for all the wrong reasons. Yes.
Daddy Sakurai. I mean, it's got empirical data that we can't see, by the way. Surely they would not lie about empirical data. You know,
I mean,
surely they wouldn't hold a giant ballot and then lie about the results. You know, they,
surely not. No.
they just wouldn't do that, and they wouldn't fabricate this either. You know.
So, like, here's the problem. I mean, people. I think a lot of people already kind of knew. As we were looking at like the balance patches for this game, which they've stopped doing like years ago. We already kind of knew that one of the main things that they were looking at was online play, which is not a move that I would do personally if I was in charge of balancing a fighting game. But it is something you can look at, but then you realize, oh wait, people don't play 1v1s all the time on this. There's also free-for-alls, there's doubles, sometimes they have items on, sometimes there's hazards. I mean, like, but every character has an equal chance of winning, right? It doesn't matter if those rule sets aren't like being played, right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Zelda with Final Smash Balls on is unbeatable. No losing matchups.
Yeah, you just get them to 43% and they perish.
They just die. I mean, even you only have to get them to like 80% with Final Smash meter on, and then they just die. So yeah, it's a
Yeah.
it's a
I
bit
just
of a
don't get
hodgepodge.
it. Yeah.
No, I mean, basically, he's saying if you go online right now and play anybody in the world, you can win with any character, which is fair enough. You mean like he's not wrong, but like as soon as you take a step outside of that, ooh,
So
yeah,
something that he mentions in his video is if you get rid of individuality, like in the context of sort of like equaling the strength levels of each character, um, then there's no point in having a wide array of fighters. So some characters not having strong aspects, some characters just basically. I think what he's trying to say is if we do everything the internet wants us to do, then there's going to be the game is going to feel even more monotonous. It's just like, and games aren't going to end ever. It's like, what are you talking about, man? That's
yeah.
not why we're complaining. Just like Steve is actually just too broken.
Mm. I mean, I can see where he's coming from, but again, it just does, yeah, like you say, it makes no sense. I mean, if you have characters who have strengths and weaknesses, that's okay, but the strengths have to balance out the weaknesses. If a character is let's say you use 100-point scale, right? Let's say you take the most average character, let's say Pit, for example, who's an
Come
exact
on, man.
he's an exact
It's an example,
I
yeah.
had to choose someone, right? Who's an
I
exact
know.
he's an exact 50-50, right? He's got,
Yeah.
nothing bad about him, but he's got nothing
No,
quote
nothing
unquote good
saucy,
about
no.
him. Yeah. So he's like, you could play Pit, and if you were just better than your opponent, you will win because he has tools that are really good. He has a reflector, he has a projectile, solid combo game, good edge guarding, good juggling. He's got tools to fit every scenario, and his stats are mostly mediocre across the board. Like he's got I'm imagining average run speed. He's got below average airspeed, but that's because he's got 6 jumps, which is the balancing factor, right? He's got loads of jumps,
Mm.
but he moves slow in the air. So again, they equal out to about a 50 range because, and then he's got multi-hit disjointed attacks. Sorry, Pitmains. And safe, fast smash attacks which kill decently, but they're not too crazy. They don't kill super early like Ganondorf, but they're not super quick like
Mm.
character who has
Little
fast smash
Mac.
attack. Yeah, Little Mac. So that would be like the ideal. But then that's balanced. But then you have a character who's like, I'm going to choose like Dr. Mario. Let's not even choose Ganondorf, who's Dr. Mario, and then you've just got this lopsided sort of scale where do his strengths balance out his weaknesses, and then the answer is kind of like no, because his weaknesses they're just not made up. He's got terrible mobility, and Pill doesn't fix that. It goes some way into remedying it, but Pill needed to be a better tool for him in order for the weakness of him being slow to balance out. Like Minecart, like Steve has terrible jumps, terrible mobility,
But
but
he's
it
also
doesn't
got
matter
blocks.
because he's
Mm.
got blocks to help him with his double jump. He's got Minecart as an excellent burst option, and he kind of just doesn't have to approach you because you know you approach him because he gets stronger because he gets all these things, whereas Dr. Mario has Pill, which doesn't make you approach him because you can just shield it kind of helps him approach, but then the counterplay to that is like, oh, he's going to jump Pill here, I'm just going to, like, if I've got a sword, I'll swat him away, or I'll run underneath and hit him when his end lag. And then, of course, you've got the terrible disadvantage state because he just doesn't go anywhere once you're comboing him. And then he's got terrible offstage, which is kind of balanced out by the fact that he's got excellent edge guarding. He's got Nair that lasts forever and kills at 80%. You've got Tornado, which kills at 60%. You've got Super Sheet. You've got Down Air. You've got all these tools, which probably does compensate a little bit, but again, your recovery doesn't go very far. Tornado doesn't really help you because it's just too laggy. I mean, if he's sent so far off and he has to a tornado, you can just jump out and hit him, and then he's kind of so the balance, instead of having like the exact 50-50, his strengths are probably like, you know 60, and then his other way around. His weaknesses are about a 70 and his strengths are about 30. So that's kind of why it doesn't work. And then
Mm.
obviously you have the opposite end of the tier scale where you've got Steve who's got like 90% strengths. He's got all of this stuff, and like his weaknesses are he's got bad mobility, but that's kind of made up for in other areas. So
Yeah, like to really exploit, especially Steve's weaknesses, you have to have specialized skill sets to even approach him to begin with.
mm,
Like you need to be able to destroy the block safely without him massively calling you out with like hitting through the wall, unless he like sort of predicts you going for it and gets like minecart over or any of that sort of shenanigans. You've got to be able to rush him down enough or pester him enough with projectiles that as he makes the wall, you're able to get up, break the wall, so he's generally losing materials that he has to engage in neutral to be able to get the resources that he needs. And unfortunately, that sort of character lineup is very few and far between. Luckily, some of the other game's top tiers, aka Cloud, anybody, Sephiroth occasionally, I wouldn't say top tier,
mm,
but he does pressure well. And to Steve, if you've got that big disjoint, to just harass him from mid range.
mm,
If you don't have any of those and you are just, I don't know, a little bit stubby, if you are Dr. Mario, you get screwed.
You
yeah,
have to outplay the hell out of the Steve, yeah.
Yeah.
yeah. And
Which,
again,
so for your base average Steve, you can do. But as soon as a person who is decent and or good at this game picks up Steve, they will go very far and we've seen it because the Steve is that much of a character that will enable them to grow that much faster because
mm,
he's such a polarizing character, and then they're already good at the game.
yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's interesting you brought out because at a casual level, you can use who you want. Like
Mm.
this game should never be balanced around casual play because casuals don't know what they're doing. Casuals think that K rule is broken and Little Mac's a problem, and then when you translate that up until competitive scenes or players who know what they're doing, they're like Little Mac.
And
So,
therein lies the problem. Like, just look this video, and with all the balance patches we've seen, it feels less geared towards what like professional players are complaining about the game, and more so just bug fixes and very very inconsequential stuff. I mean, there have been good like balance changes, but those came very few and far between. Like we talked about some buffs that Sonic got, but Falco got buffed like a lot as well. Mewtwo got buffed. But I think as a result of that, just some characters were just completely just went under the radar. So Rob was still allowed to have some of his crazy stuff. Palu, I mean, she did get nerfed, but she's still kind of good. Don't let anyone tell
She
you
is
otherwise.
she is
Yeah.
good, absolutely. I will
Um,
not have anybody come on this channel and say that Palu is not good. That is how
yeah.
you get a one-way injection. We do not lie around here.
And just can I just rant for a second about just it's like some of the DLCs. I am going to talk about Steve for a bit. Just like the ones especially that came out during the pandemic.
Mm.
How were they balanced? Is my question. So Steve, as we know, broken. Sephiroth, depending on who you ask, is either a high tier or like the most disappointing DLC ever. I am in the latter camp, by the way. I like playing as the character, but it's like, why did they design him like this? And then also Aegis being so good, that kind of on the fence of whether they count as being released during lockdown. But just I wonder how they actually went about doing it. Just
Yeah, I mean, I'm not too sure either because I think the whole point of this game was. Do you remember when they said they had like professional players te- testing it and balancing it? You know, we had
yes.
like Renai from Smash Four and
Yeah, Renai.
Renai 2B,
I think Tet did as well.
yeah,
Yeah.
and you know we had lots of top Japanese players balancing this game, and I think a lot of people are like, oh yeah, this is like cool. They'll do things, and then the game dropped, and then you looked at some of the atrocities that are there, and they were like, did these top players balance this? You know, you had like Pichu mashing forward tilt, killing you at 60 with no lag, and you're like, did
That doesn't seem right. Yeah.
did Renai really play this and go, yeah, seems all right? You know,
I reckon he did, and just
Sakurai
kept
holding
his head down.
Sakurai holding ledge, and Renai's like, choo, 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 killed him at 60. And Sakurai's like, is that competitively legal? And Renai's
I-
like, yes, ship it.
Ship it.
I see no reason to alter any of this. This is perfect.
I mean, that was kind of like the whole point that they were listening to feedback. They got these top players involved, and they had a look at balance, and they really tried to take it to the forefront, but it just didn't sort of come out the way we wanted. I mean, overall, for a vanilla game, it wasn't too bad. There were some bad things, but overall, a lot of the cast were either good but not
Or terrible.
just
Yeah.
or
Mm.
terrible. Um, so yeah, I think not a massively well done deserved to the play testers.
No, but to the buffing team in particular, like they did relatively well. Most of as this game sort of progressed, they looked at who wasn't doing very well. Like Diddy wasn't doing very well. I'm gonna say Pit because he was
Yeah.
trash. Um, and then a
Yeah.
couple other characters that needed to get buffs to be able to be viable, and now are like actual contenders in like today's meta. They needed that work, and the team tended to push towards making characters better than nerfing others, but they would do some slight nerfs for like Palu, Ike, Pichu. Who else did they like massively nerf?
All
They Olimar, yeah, but that was
Olimar.
World of Light Shenanigans. And
Does Joker count?
they
that
did kind of nerf Joker because it
uh,
did sort of put him in his place because they reduced the amount of time that he'd have if Arsene got hit. Like so.
Old down gun.
down
Oh,
Remember?
down
Oh
gun!
my
Oh, I
god.
forgot.
that
Oh my god.
needed changing. I could
Who
not that I
thought that was a good idea?
not that I
In
can
fact,
recover now.
old down gun is still in the game. You just don't have to. You have to
I do it
not
on the
jump.
ground. Yeah.
Yeah. If you
Yeah,
get
but that's
hit
not
up
what
in the
we're.
air, you do down gun. You still have old down gun. It's still
Oh
there.
no.
It's just that you can't shark the ledge with it anymore.
It was actually just like atrocious to recover as a tether recovery because if you tethered, down gun would just go
Yeah.
you would die. Like Min that if Joker had old down gun, Min would be an easy +7 for Joker because they would just throw them off stage and go and then that was it. That would be it. That
Mm.
would be the matchup. So yeah,
So yeah,
I
they
just
did well. The team did well, but there's still some glaring things they decided to leave in, and we have to suffer the consequences.
yeah. I mean, like early meta, they like you said, they were on it quite quickly. You know, they saw that Pichu was winning everything with one person and decided to nerf them. And then they saw that Olimar was doing well with 3 reps and then nerfed him. And then they
Mm.
saw that Snake was doing really well with 3 reps and they buffed him. So, you know, not that I'm
Some big
salty or
Japanese man
anything.
complained on Twitter, and they buffed Sonic.
Yeah.
Uh,
I mean, it does really make you think that thinking about, you know, Pichu in like characters like Pichu and Palu, back then they were like really dominant. But then now you look at them and you're like, you know, minus the F tilt, would Pichu still be broken if none of the nerfs happened? I mean, they reverted most of the nerfs that he had because they were like, maybe we did go a bit too far, and now Pichu is just I I don't remember the last time I played a Pichu.
The
I
size change was absolutely warranted, though.
mm.
I think aside from Mewtwo's weight being buffed, that's like the only attribute that's been changed like across the entire history of the
yeah
game. Well, excluding the one time they experimented with Mii Brawler's full speed. Was it full
yeah
speed or gravity?
I think it was gravity because
Yeah,
yeah.
Mm.
yeah. Those are the only times they did anything like that.
Mm. Yeah, I mean, sometimes you look at the character like that was that buff to the gravity, which made him be able to short hop forward air and just auto cancel
Auto
it. You're
cancel.
like,
Oh no, why did
no,
they?
now I don't know if that gave me Brawler any sort of advantages or whatever, but
I think it did.
oh,
It
I
okay.
think it
probably did,
did.
but also you already got a -3 net. Like,
Yeah.
why do you need an auto cancel there as well?
But then you got like Charizard, who's 1 frame off auto canceling short hop forward air.
Oh
You
boo
can't.
hoo.
I know. Apparently, Pokemon trainers are still really annoyed at that because that would
I
be
can't believe my kill move with Zard. Like I can't auto cancel with it. Like oh
One of like 20 bajillion.
yes,
Um, but you know, I think most of the time they just listened to Japan and whatever Japan wanted, they nerfed. Like if you think about Min, like
Yeah.
so
oh
big
yeah,
in
they
Japan,
hated her. Yeah,
they hated her. Downvotes across every YouTube's video, and what happened? Nerfed.
nerfed. Yeah,
Wario
Hmm.
was everywhere in Japan. Every character, every player had a pocket Wario. Like every top 50 player had a pocket Wario. And then what happened? Bang, nerf.
nerfed. Yeah,
ZSS, huge in Japan. You had like Choco doing well, you had Shaky doing well, and loads of others. Complained, nerfed. Like that is your key. You need to go to if you want anything changed in this game, you need to fly to Japan,
do
complain
something.
and
Yeah,
exactly, and then you will get nerfed because I don't think they were particularly looking at the UK, the US scene or the Europe scene.
no,
Not massive.
no.
Except the only thing that did massively look is when we had that the pyramid scheme Diddy combo that
Oh
was
yeah,
on
Oh,
stream. And
that's
that's the
right.
only time but that I can at least sort of massively think of. But after that was on stream once, gone in the next patch.
but
Just
I think it happened in
Muso didn't deserve it, man. He didn't deserve it.
Japan.
It
I
was
think
Evo Japan, wasn't it?
I believe so. It was one of the characters that because they found it, and then I think all the Diddy Kong
Yeah.
mains were like,
They were
"Let's
like,
just
don't put
not
it on
do
stream. Shh.
this." Exactly,
Yeah.
like, just don't do this,
But
and
then
it
someone
won't get
missed the
nerfed.
memo. Yeah,
Yeah, and then one of the Japanese ones did it to like 280%, and then the cat was
Mm,
out the bag, and Dakpo was like, "Right, that guy in Japan did it. I'm gonna do it." Got his
yeah.
one glute name in, and hasn't played him since because they nerfed it. So, but thank goodness they did nerf it.
imagine if it was still around and Aaron was doing that to everyone, like at Bournemouth.
Ah,
Like,
I would just reach and grab his controller. I wouldn't
Yeah,
mind if I had to
I
lose
would
the
knock it
stock
out of his
anyway, because
hands. Yeah,
I'm already losing the stock. I don't care. I'm going to do it in my way.
yeah.
I would throw a banana at him.
But
How do you like it?
at least for that it's an execution test, right? You've got to make it you've got to make it consistent. Yes, once you get started, it's a lot easier to keep it going, but you have to have that down in a real set. I suppose that's the same reason why most of like the zero to death combos with like Luigi and Steve and all of that sort of stuff, they get dropped, but they're still really good. But you have to have that execution test, and especially at this late in the meta, if it was still here, like going all the way back to what we were saying, would Pichu still be good? Probably, but the fact that every other character has been optimized to this degree now,
Yeah.
they would die at 30, and they have a
Yeah.
very little opportunity to do what they want to do.
Yeah, I think the problem with a lot of the problem with Pichu is that Void is just one of those players who just optimizes everything. If ever there's a new fighting game come out, like I think Multiverse or Nickelodeon,
Yeah, he's hopped back on multiverses now.
yeah, he always wins the big tournaments early on. Like he will just if he doesn't win them, he's always up there, and he just pushes it really far and then everybody's like so far behind. And then it just seems like whatever character he's maining is just broken. But that's just because he's just like, I'm just gonna
He's
be
a
really
lag monster. Yeah.
exactly.
Hmm.
Um, but then back in was it 2018, we didn't know about SDI. Nobody was SDIing anything. So the lightning loops, you don't see like if you ever do see Pichu, you never see like Nato you use lightning loops because everybody's just like,
Mm.
"Right, I'll
Yeah, I'm
SDI
gonna
out."
Yeah,
SDI. Yeah.
you'll get one loop. That's about it. Maybe two if you're lucky.
So yeah, I mean, it unjustly nerfed, but yeah, it's difficult out here.
Except F tilt, that deserved to die.
Yeah.
Like that kind of
The
you
rest of
know,
it's fine.
there
And the
was there was
size. Yeah.
there were some things that definitely needed to go. Like Pichu F tilt that needed to go. Wario's up tilt that
Oh
definitely
my
needed to
god, I
Oh,
forgot about Wario up
I
till.
started
Wario up
playing
tilt.
after that. Like, I'm so glad I
Oh,
didn't have to experience that in.
he
Uh,
would put his hands up, and everything from here was a hitbox until he literally put them down. So and everything comboed.
Oh.
So you would get hit by an anti-air. By the way, this is a disjointed anti-air. It
mm,
lasted for like 20 frames and comboed into waft, and people were crying when it got nerfed. I remember, I think it was RMH was like, "Ah, this character's dead," and I was like, "No, don't be silly. You've still got roll in up tilt waft." Um, yeah, so that one decided to get nerfed. What else decided to get nerfed? Oh,
Palutena Nair.
Paladin in there. Yeah, that
Yeah,
deserved.
I
you just
I
can't get five. You can get three into an up air train in a juggle.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine.
I
But
distinctly remember around the time it happened, the Palutena Discord was like, everybody, don't panic. Like it's like actual like state of emergency like kind of announcement in the Discord saying like stop, don't panic. Like
we have to use our other moves,
we had to use more than one brain cell.
and they still go
Mm.
back to using there. Nothing's changed.
Yeah,
We've come
No,
full circle.
it's still good, but it's not as impressive as it was when people didn't know how to deal with Palu just running up and naring you.
yeah. No
Oh,
disrespect to like Zone, Hitte, etc. Of course, yeah.
um, Ivysaur's up B, down throw up B.
Up
Oh
air, you
God,
mean?
yeah,
Oh, the down air got nerfed.
Yeah,
it
that's
Yes.
not the one I'm on
did.
about. Up B, because they would down throw you and up B you, and you would die at 80, and that was
I
it.
do remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, all you would
Yeah, and
do. Yeah, because you would spat. So what you would do is like you get maybe some damage on Squirtle, and when you were finished, you would be like, "I'm gonna go to Ivysaur," and then you would like Razor Leaf because that move auto cancelled from a short hop.
For
It
some
doesn't
reason.
now,
Yeah.
and then you would just mash it, and if you hit the late hit of Razor Leaf, you run up and grab them and up B them, and if you didn't want to get hit, you would just run up and grab them anyway. Or no, if you got hit by the start of it, it comboed into up air and you died. So yeah, if you got grabbed because you didn't want to get hit by up air and die, you would die anyway. And
Mm,
then if you got hit by the projectile, you either got grabbed at the end and died, or you got up aired and died. It didn't make for a
yeah,
very engaging character.
Early Ultimate had a lot of that. It's like, so you had Razor Leaf, you had Clay Pigeon, which was a bit more busted.
Oh, Leaf Shield was broken.
Leaf
Leaf Shield was
Shield.
broken, yeah.
Yeah.
Me
There was a
Gunner
time,
only had
Me
all of
Saw
the
Fighter,
yeah, Me Saw Fighter and Me Gunner.
Tornado. It went the entirety of FD.
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
so funny.
Me Gunner could true pop your shield at full before
Yeah.
they nerfed like the sort of damage to shield and projectiles.
Just
Um,
just to touch on that, think about this. Me Gunner Neutral B at the moment is a confirmed dash grab. That move is
mm,
like brain 10, and they've got to run up and grab you. Imagine, imagine what they could do with more shield stun. All they would do
Yeah,
was
that's
like
Mewtwo's
use,
thing.
use the grenade, and then they would run up and like up tilt your shield, and it would just be a true shield break.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the charge shot.
oh
Okay.
no,
Oh,
you'd have
that is
grenade.
No,
Charge shot is
I know
good.
about
You
I
could
know
do
about grenade being plus on shield. Yeah.
yeah,
yeah,
you could do drop bomb the down B into charge shot and it will pop from zero from
yeah.
shield. Grenade gives you a guaranteed dash grab, shield break down till any other thing you desired. But luckily, nobody really did it because it was me Gunner.
Yeah, nobody played me Gunner. And
Yeah.
then, like you say, Clay Pigeon. Oh my goodness. So
You
the
like you can do stuff now. You can salvage them across the stage and then spike them at 80 from
yeah.
zero, and you. Ugh.
So the combos you can do on, because you can still do it on heavies. Like it's really easy to on like big bodies like K. Rool and Ridley and Donkey Kong and Bowser. You can just like even I can do it. That's how easy it is. You can Clay Pigeon, short hop Clay Pigeon, short hop Clay Pigeon. If there's a platform, you can even got short hop Clay Pigeon forward smash. You're dealing 80%, 90%. You could do that on every character because they went through hit lag, but you didn't. And the hit lag
Yeah,
was so big on the Clay Pigeon, you could just run up and do another one, and
yeah,
then you
because
could just
you'd
chain
have
them.
the actual pigeon, and then you'd have the shot, and you could control when it is. So you'd be already running up when you get the shot to get the next one.
I mean, again, it was on Duck Hunt, so nobody sort of knew
Nobody
about it.
knew about it.
Everybody was too busy doing the Chromakaze and and the rollers stuff.
Oh God, I forgot Crom died second.
Wrong side second,
Ah,
All the time. Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, if you do it low enough, that still happens.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, and you can
yeah.
still. I'm not sure if it's true now because people can DI it, but yeah, if you can still probably get like forward air up B, and if you're a
Oh yeah,
stock
you can
ahead,
still combo into it. It's just that
yeah,
as Crom descends, he accelerates significantly faster.
yeah.
So he will
I
always
don't.
hit the blast zone first.
So if you're a stock ahead, you can still do that.
Yeah.
I just
Yeah.
don't
Yeah,
see
but who
people
plays
do it.
Crom?
Exactly.
Quarry Governor.
That
Hmm.
was a cheers. The brave soldier.
Um, about patch notes, I'm sure throughout your time playing that you've definitely seen one or two Mewtwo's complaining about their character. I was one of them, by the
I was going
way.
to say we've got a very active voice talking to us about it.
Hmm.
I believe they were unhappy with up air, wasn't it?
They were more upset at the tail more than any other like
Yeah.
move. I mean, like up smash is the one that we call like not very good. That did get buffed, but like it's very situational at best. Um,
Now one up smash.
yeah, good luck actually landing that on a moving target. What's it? So what they did change about Mewtwo's tail because the tail hurt box. Like what people were clamoring for was the outer hurt box to be gutted because he didn't because in Smash 4 that wasn't the case. He actually had like a sword with his tail. Um
Mm.
but what they did in Ultimate was they just like what's the opposite of widening like they just
Narrowing.
shrunk narrowing the hurt boxes of the tail. They just made it more narrow. That's all they did. And
Yeah,
like
it's still there.
every Mewtwo like was like saying gassing it up like saying, "Oh my god, it's so much shorter." Like, yeah. Like we were all excited, but then we just found out what they actually did. I was like, "Oh."
This doesn't help us at all.
Mm.
Mm.
I think a lot of buffs were like that. They just sort of just didn't help you at all. I mean, your character either fell into one of two camps, right? They either had like specific targeted buffs which helped, or
Mhm.
they spun the roulette wheel and they were like, "You're
Okay,
down."
that
Yeah,
move, yeah.
that move's doing 2% more damage. It's
Mm.
technically a buff, right? So like you can see like examples of like characters where they've like actively thought about what they want to do with the character. Like again, I'm going to use Dr. Mario because like
Oh,
gen
they did really well with his buffs, to
yeah,
be fair.
I mean he's still not a good
Mm.
character, but they really looked at him and thought, yeah, let's make this better. Like forward tilt sent further, so you've got more chance for edge guarding. They made his down air longer, last longer.
Yeah,
So again,
they doubled the
leaning,
spike duration.
yeah, so it leans
Like,
into more of
Actually, yeah.
the edge guarding. They made the nair stronger, so again, leaning more into this edge guarding. So they were like, okay, we've got this character who can, and they made his down tilt better, so they can do down tilt, jump up
That's
beat.
right, yes.
So that you've got this character who's now really powerful up close. He's like a grappler. It's kind of like a pseudo heavy, where it's like, I want to get in, I want to grab you, I want to hit you, chuck you off stage, and my overall goal is to edge guard you. And all of the buffs that happened were tailored around that, you know. Um, and they did really well with it. Again, he's not a very good character still, viable, and you can do well into all sorts of characters, etc., etc. But that's kind of what happens when you limit yourself to just making changes to move sets and numbers and data rather than
mm,
airspeed or physics or whatever. And then you had other characters where it's just like,
I have a very good example of characters that they just threw is Captain Falcon. They just threw at the wall and
yeah,
hoped. And it kind of worked. Like they changed Raptor Boost to be so much better. They made it so that you wouldn't get tech checked as much anymore with both him and Ganon. They lost 25 frames of end lag off
Oh
Buck
my
B if
god.
they hit.
that is a
Um
20-year project. 20
yep.
years. That has been a problem since Melee, and they have
It,
now.
they took 1 frame off per year so that they could actually not die off stage if they actually hit their move. Crazy subject, I know.
Yeah.
But yeah, literally, they did everything except for changing his turnaround, which was what
Yeah,
they wanted. But they threw so many other random shit at the wall, they turned him into I'm going to run at you and I do not care anymore.
yeah.
Instead of what he already was, which was I'm going to get one hit and then murder you, which he
Yeah.
still does because that
I mean,
up air is insane and needs to be nerfed. But
he's definitely a character. Like the up smash came from like
oh god, yeah,
nowhere,
the up
and it's
smash, I forgot.
like
Was
it
that
That
does.
was
was that a buff
boom.
thing?
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
think.
That
Um,
was
I'm gonna have a
that
look.
scoop? Are
Yeah,
you
does it?
serious? That
I think
scoop came from
like
a buff.
I'm not
uh
too sure if they added the scoop, but I believe the hitbox beneath
the
him.
hitbox got
I
better. I
think they
think.
added
Hang on.
that, and then obviously they made the lag less, and they made it do more damage. So
True,
yeah,
yeah.
Mm.
so it was just
Yeah. So
overall a smooth.
Falcon's first set of buffs were basically like F tilt does more damage, bigger sweet spot on knee, Raptor boost gets less startup, Falcon kick is better, shield got increased size, and then going
That
into
did
like
happen, yeah.
lockdown, dash attack got safer, down tilt got more knockback, up smash got better knockback scaling, so it hit harder. Raptor boost got even better with a better angle. Falcon kick became better with less startup, and an up smash also got in 9.0 got better priority, so it beat over 12% damage hitboxes instead of like
Yeah,
11 or 10. And then they got rid of tech check after that. So they just kept throwing stuff at Captain Falcon,
yeah.
and this is what we got left with. Which is he's a very fun character, but also Jesus Christ, what were they
Yeah.
thinking?
I mean, it kind of works. I mean, that's an example of where like they could have made the buffs just a little bit more targeted. Like they want him. Your character excels when people are in the corner, but it's kind of weird. It's kind of awkward to kill with Captain Falcon if you're in the corner. You've pretty much got to land a back air
Yeah,
because
Or
you
an
you're up.
either
up
hit
B,
or
yeah.
you actually shielding with up B at 160.
Yeah,
Like those are your options.
so it's kind of weird because forward tilt doesn't kill. It sets up for an edge guard, but it doesn't even send that far. Down tilt kind of kills. dep- You know,
Yeah, down kill kills if you have a subpar recovery because it'll either put you into a place that you'll get spiked or you'll get footstool or they'll like RAR off and then either back air you or up B you again and put you in an even worse spot.
Yeah.
I get hit by this so much. I play Toby too much now, and it's all I can see. It's terrifying.
Another character that I want to highlight, Ike.
Mm.
Yeah, so
He's
they
worse
buffed the
now.
knockback of Nair. They buffed the knockback of Nair, but also like a bunch of other moves. So yeah, he still kind of uses Nair because that's the centerpiece of his game plan. But now he's not just Nair up air. Now he's Nair up B, like Nair back air. So like there's
Yeah.
a bit more going on with the character than vanilla.
I
thought
still
that was
think,
cool.
yeah, I still think Ike is just going to every game he and Cloud in. He's just going to live in his shadow. Like Cloud is just DLC Ike. I mean, let's be
I
honest.
don't know what you mean. Like Ike is so much better at killing Jigglypuffs. That's all we care about, right?
That is true. That is
Well,
true. But yeah,
But
it's
yeah,
just
Ether didn't kill, and then they buffed it to the fact that it killed at 100 when it didn't kill at 210
yeah.
beforehand. It was. I looked at it when I first started playing, and I looked at Ike and I'm like, this seems fun, but also what the fuck?
Oh yeah, Bayo used to be pretty bad too.
Bayo used to be.
Mm-hmm.
Thank goodness. But genuinely, that character was bottom 5 at the beginning of the game. She was atrocious. She still had all of her witch twist, and she could still do 80% damage, but
no multi hits worked. Yeah,
and then she just couldn't kill. Back air killed, but you're relying on a roll read. Jab didn't kill. Dash attack didn't kill. Forward throw didn't kill. You would have to hit a smash attack with witch time, which also wasn't very good to kill. She was when they say they nerfed her because of what Leo did, they really nerfed her.
Yeah.
She was very, very bad. Genuinely a bottom 10 character. Up tilt didn't even function, I don't think.
I don't think it did. Yeah,
You just hit one and they would just fall out. So up tilt back air, not a thing. So you're relying on basically if you shielded versus Bayonetta, you would just win because
you were fine. Yeah,
you couldn't kill unless you were edge guarding. And then but yeah. She was very, very bad. And then she got lots of really good buffs. Again, just what she needed, like kill power, forward throw now kills at late-ish percent, but late enough. Uh
Yeah, you'd
up
still find
tilt
yourself
well.
in that position where Vale would get onto that percent and having that opportunity to just go, I'm gonna shield pressure you with their dash grab instead and kill you for it.
another thing is the changes to the SDI stuff to her moves. I'm pretty sure they changed up B, so it's even harder to escape.
Yeah, they lowered the SDI multiplier on up
So,
B, but
so,
they kept the side B the same. So if you got out of the side B, you wouldn't get hit by the up B.
so my down B, which is a crucial part of my kit and kill confirm, can be SDI'd out of like that. But a frame 6 move that hits on both sides of his shield leads to 60%. You can't SDI out of
I
that.
mean, if I were hit by holy water and I had to take an F smash for that, I don't think that'd be particularly fun.
No,
I mean,
but
Bayo's a combo character. Let's be completely clear here. That is what she's designed to do. I
and
don't think Belmont down B it can be compared to Bayonetta at all.
I am a trapper character who relies on getting you into holy water, which is a difficult task, may I add, against good players, not just Timmy's online. It's easy to hit on them. It's really difficult to get you into holy water. I have to think really hard about where I'm going to place it, and then
If you
I
didn't have
finally get
Axe,
you in,
if you didn't
and
have
then you
Axe,
just
I
miss.
would agree.
Axe isn't even that good. Don't come at me.
Bro, it's so slow, and you can just throw holy water right afterwards. I do not
No,
want to hear
you
it.
cannot.
Yes, you can.
Bro,
You can rotate your you can
No.
rotate your stick and press the B button, and something good in ledge trapping will happen.
Oh,
Yes.
what is this propaganda?
I've
Axe has more.
literally
Axe,
bullied Wings with my own Belmont using the
I
exact
can
same strat.
confirm this.
but
This
no,
this is true.
bro. Axe has more lag than K. Rool down smash.
Okay, it's a projectile.
It's a
It threatens
projectile.
Lechang.
You just roll and then they do it and hit them for it.
Okay, then I get grabbed. This ledge trapping, bro.
No,
Yeah.
this is just This is just
You also say you have a lot
Oh,
of brains, yeah, to be using down B and getting good players into down B. Where do those brains go when you just F tilt 3 times at ledge?
well, just like you could get up and shield. I've got 2 frames on a 2 frame active move to kill you. I mean, if I hit that, then I've just got good reactions. It's
Right.
the same thing
Mm,
with it's the same thing with Sephiroth players. They just wait at ledge, and you're like, "I'm gonna get up," and then they F tilt you, and you're like,
Yeah.
"Ah." It's no different from that. It's just reaction and just
mm.
pure skill.
I wish Sephiroth had hacks.
You do not wish Sephiroth had axe.
I do
Shadow,
actually.
The
Shadow,
Giga Flare's so
Giga Flare.
much cooler.
Giga Flare is an instant shield break. I know what you're talking about. And you get a guaranteed kill at 0 if you break shields as Sephiroth.
Cool.
It's guaranteed.
Anyway,
Anyway, this game is this game that we play.
And even Axe is
We
even
question if the developers really knew what they were doing, but we all have a fun time with it, wouldn't you say, fellas?
no.
100% we have a fun
No?
time.
I mean, yeah, but good buffs are the ones that just give more identity to a character. I mean, that
Mm.
they take a character and they go, let's make their tools a little bit better in a sensible way. Even though the Ike players did get like that ether change, that kind of makes sense because that's Ike's signature skill in Fire Emblem. Like it's terrible as a recovery move, so it might as well kill.
Yeah.
It is the first move he did when he came into subspace as well. I remember. Like
Oh,
he just
that's
rocks up. He
right.
rocks up and
Yes.
smacks the bomb with ether.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, for all the buffs that it's got, it's still worse than limit. It's still worse than climb hazard because it's far. Because climb hazard's
Yeah.
faster. It
You
doesn't
trade that
kill.
for armor, though, I suppose.
Yeah, but when
So.
you're like frame 12 out of shield, do you
Mm.
really? You might as well just grab out of shield at that rate.
Yeah.
I
Whereas,
guess.
whereas Cloud just goes. Actually, an unbeatable strategy online. If you just hold shield, and then when they come anywhere near you, you just press up B, and if you go onto the top part of battlefield, unpunishable.
Sounds a lot like Simon, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, but
I was
Simon,
trying not to say that. I was trying so hard.
except Simon's is generally a lot worse because it clanks with everything and the neighbor's cat.
My theory is Cloud players are just Game and Watch players that don't want to be viewed as lame.
Oh, so true. So true.
Discuss.
So, I mean,
10 minutes though.
they both they both like to up B out of shield. They both
We will
use a
we
lot of
will
back air.
we will poke each other with like really safe aerials. Although to be fair, like Cloud specials very much enhances gameplay, whereas Game and Watch is I'm going to either get out of the L3 or I'm going to cheese you at 10. There are the options.
Mm.
So yeah, it's. But yeah, Game Watch is a lot more oppressive, but Cloud can just sort of say, I'm not going to engage at all. Have fun.
Yeah, he gets rewarded for camping.
Mm.
The limit charge, yeah.
The limit charge. Oh, you don't want to engage with me? I'm just going to charge limit. And all
Thank
of a
God I
sudden,
never played Smash 4 when it wasn't like you
It
could
was
kept limit.
infinite, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh dear,
Although,
they would legit just camp for limit because there was absolutely no reason not to. Because as soon as you had limit, you were faster, you were stronger, and you just couldn't get gimped. So there was no,
And you had the kill power too, yeah.
and you had the kill power. So there was legit no reason because you could combo into finishing touch. You would just do short down air because the pogo stick auto cancelled, and if you hit one,
Mm.
boop,
yeah,
Yeah.
and landing up there as well before that
landing up
hitbox
there.
got completely changed coming into this game.
Oh, thank goodness! By the way,
Uh,
thank goodness. That's the last thing we wanted was landing up air from Cloud. Oh,
Yeah, what a game we play.
what a game we played! Yeah,
I mean, I don't know. At least for me and Tom, I can sort of say at least we sort of hold ourselves back from low tiers, and so we're putting ourselves in bad situations, I suppose.
yeah, you
At
mid
least,
tier, you mid tier Hulk wreck.
yeah. At least
What do you
like
mean my
Griseous,
character's high
like
tier?
the Mewtwo is like high tier at least.
Oh yeah,
he's very
minimum.
good. And then there's the hate project of the Rob that he has, which
Work in progress.
which is I've been on the other end of it. It's a pain in the ass.
Oh.
But yeah, so I would love to play on top tier, and I probably hope to whenever, if/when Smash 6 comes out. But I've tried everything in this game for like the 2 years I've been playing, and
Mm.
I can only play low and mid tiers, and it sucks.
I think people just have soul mains, don't they?
They do,
Yeah.
yeah.
I don't know if I talked about this on the podcast before, but I'm a big believer in soul mains. Like, you see DeBuzz, man, he's just gonna play Rosalina in every game, and it'll
Mm.
just be his best character no matter what. He can try and play Armar or Min Min or Steve or
It's just
whatever.
not going to hit the same, yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
exactly. It will just never compare to how good as Rosa is. Or like, who else? Cosmos. He's just a Corrin main in disguise. He's in denial. He's in denial that he's a Corrin main or an Inkling main, dual main, whatever. But like the S Ages, just go back to play Corrin. You were good in
I
Smash 4 because you played him. You should just be playing him now.
It's like that one time you said, I don't get why Gris is playing Mewtwo when there's Samus, when there's Snake, and as we've recently discussed, when I have a Bayo such as mine. Like
Oh, that bear, man. But yeah, you just people try and they're like, oh, I'll just pick whatever top tier comes out. But you just have a special connection to characters,
yeah.
and they will just be your best character, and that's your lot. If they're high tier, they're high tier. If they're low tier, oh
Oh
well,
well.
yeah.
I just need to roll dice better.
Abadango should just go back to Mewtwo. I reckon Abadango, if he just stuck with Mewtwo, he'd be doing well again. But he's going to play whatever top tier he wants and get rubbish results. But what do I know?
Got
Yeah.
like top 3 at that European major with Meta Knight. I mean, I don't know.
Oh yeah, he had a Meta Knight, didn't he? And why
Mm.
why not just play Mewtwo and Meta Knight? Done. But no, he's
I
messing
can see
around.
it working nowadays. Actually, not gonna
Yeah,
lie.
Loki, that's not like a bad spread. Late meta, that's not bad. Like, because Meta Knight just murders you at 10
Oh,
just because you got dash attacked, and then Mewtwo will sort of camp out anybody else who doesn't, or like is more overpowering and gets out of the range. So yeah, that kind of covers quite well.
oh, if they play Cloud. Oh, I'll just Meta Knight ladder
No,
them
no,
with
yeah.
Cloud. Oh,
Yeah.
they're playing Pac-Man. I don't want to deal with that. I'll just play
I
Mewtwo.
will charge
Mewtwo.
Shadow Ball. Yeah.
See, you're welcome, Abadango. When you win Evo,
Uh,
we'll take half of it.
when we ever get Smash Evo again.
Oh
Never.
yeah.
Not while it's a
Not
Sony
gonna.
thing.
Yeah.
But yeah. I don't think I've got anything more to say.
Nah,
Not
we've sort
here.
of covered everything that we were planning to cover, and we've gone down a couple of rabbit holes, and we've done
Yeah.
it with a little bit of time to spare. So I think that's a win.
Yes.
If anything, Wu will be thanking us for less editing to do.
You're welcome, Wu.
But yeah, I think we'll leave it there. Thank you everybody much for watching again. Apologies about the last one. I was at Brentwood Brawl, so didn't really get to record an episode that week. So which is why ours is a little bit later. But yeah, definitely check out the Brink voting applications. You've got about 21 people going to vote for them. So follow Dalax on Twitter and make sure you've got the who you want to vote for in mind, and then obviously tune in really. But yeah, Brink 2 will be fun. But yeah, I'd like to say a very nice thank you to both Greg and Steve for joining me. Thank you very much
No
for joining
worries.
me.
And if you're running for Brink 2 as well, and you're watching this, good luck with your runs, of course. Hopefully you can see your incentives through. I'm quite looking forward to seeing what some people have got lined up for their campaigns. I know Florie's got hers up already. Still waiting on Aaron's.
I should post mine on Twitter sometime. It'll be
Yeah,
up by
yours
the
is
time.
yours is in the document, but it's nobody else has seen it. Like
Oh,
it's only
fair
got like 2 incentives, and the third one is, oh, Lamau, I didn't think I'd get this many votes.
Oh,
Somebody
to
give
be
me some
fair,
ideas.
to be fair, 600 votes is a lot of votes. I don't know what
Yeah.
I'll do. If I ever get to 600 votes, I'll come up with something.
Yeah, good luck with everyone running, including you, Tom.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and hope nobody goes bankrupt while doing it.
But yes, thank you very much, everyone, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye.
Bye.
Bye bye.